Welcome to episode 60 of Motivating Mondays, a weekly podcast and YouTube series dedicated to help Canadian job developers and other employer engagement professionals develop the tools, resources, expertise, and network to excel at achieving sustainable employment outcomes for their clients or students. My name is Christian St. Cyr, National Director of the Canadian Job Development Network, and today we're going to talk about the changing world of job development. I believe there are 17 fundamentals in effective job development. This provides a structure whereby job developers are able to develop strong employer relationships, best practices in career development, and lasting employment outcomes. In creating the Canadian Job Development Network, we wanted to acknowledge the world of employer engagement is changing, and so should the role of the job developer. If we look at the history of job development, its purposes have not changed, the placement and possible employment outcomes of supported individuals, and yet how this work is done has changed considerably. 20 years ago, it was sufficient to gather and share job postings, suggest potential employees, and support individuals who've been placed. Technology, in the meantime, has largely replaced the value of these services. Employers have a multitude of ways to share job postings and gather candidates. To further complicate the environment, the expectations of employment service funders have changed significantly. Increasingly, career development organizations are being measured on the employment outcomes. These measures are extended to not only getting the job, but ensuring the employment outcomes last for 12 weeks, 6 months, a year, or more. In the rapid advancement of artificial intelligence, if it has taught us anything, it's that workers cannot exclusively perform easily repeatable functions that require no problem-solving, intuition, or the development of interpersonal relationships. With this in mind, we launched the Canadian Job Development Network 3 years ago based on the STEP approach to job development, STEP. This approach involves 4 separate spheres of expertise. These include strategy, that all job development activities should be informed by a strong understanding of the labor market and the local community. Training, that both job seekers and employers should be supported with training and tools which facilitate supported employment. Expertise, job developers should be a resource for the employer community looking to better understand the labor market in their community. And finally, P, performance. Employer engagement should be pursued with clear goals, with supported daily activities where success is measured and activities modified to achieve greater areas of success. This approach is based on the belief that job developers are not simply order takers, but recruitment and retention specialists. Their supports are continually tailored to the needs of individuals, and their performance and subject matter expertise is a measure of their success. To support this approach and ensure maximum performance, I've developed these 17 fundamentals of job development to assist job developers in making sure their activities produce the very best outcomes. Strategy number 1, or fundamental number 1, to develop a strategy for employer engagement. While many job developers simply market the individuals they are working with to the most logical employers, a strategy should be based on the actual employer makeup of the community. An analysis of the community should comprise the major sectors, significant employers, and a dedicated strategy for engagement and follow-up with these employers. As job developers meet and engage with new clients or students, they can then be folded into the developing dialogue that they're having with these employers. Fundamental number 2, set targets and pursue with measurable daily, weekly, and monthly activity. While it makes strong business sense to have employment targets, the fact is that most job developers cannot guarantee whether someone will or will not get hired. Having goals exclusively focused on targets, such as an employment outcome, can be demoralizing without the means of achieving them. A successful job developer should have daily, weekly, and monthly activities they can work on that will have the greatest likelihood of achieving employment outcomes. Utilizing this framework, they can then maximize these activities, which are likely to have the greatest success, and shift away from the low percentage activities. Fundamental number 3, establish and maintain a strong database. Now, it is easy to see a database as simply an administrative hassle, and while it's not going to inspire anyone to extol the benefits of a strong database, it's the essential tool for any job developer as much as a stethoscope is for a doctor, AutoCAD is for an engineer, or a well-organized prep station is for a chef. There is no way to track potentially hundreds of local employers and the resulting conversation without a database that is continually updated, refined, and adjusted as necessary. Fundamental number 4, track employers and candidates by knock code. Applying for posted jobs is a frustrating activity for anyone with gaps in their work history, with international experience or education, who doesn't meet all of the criteria an employer is looking for, who lacks relevant experience, or who is new to the job market. When an employer is looking to determine who to interview, they are specifically looking to exclude individuals who fall into these categories. As a job developer grows their practice, they should be gathering a database of every role each employer staffs for, broken down by national occupation classification. If you're dealing with a restaurant, you've got servers, you've got cooks, you've got dishwashers, you've got managers, you've got bartenders. Every employer should be ranked by all of the knock codes that they employ within that organization. Job developers should also have a complimentary record of every individual they are working with and the jobs that they are interested in, organized by knock code. They can then refer clients to employers rather than job postings. Job seekers willing to cold call employers will enjoy greater results than simply applying for posted job opportunities. It is likely that if a job seeker approaches 4 employers, at least one of them will be hiring at any one time. Since we know most jobs are within the hidden job market, it's likely the employer hasn't yet even advertised that role. Number 5, adopt an accountability structure. Whether in the form of a written agreement or a list of program expectations, clients and students should have a clear understanding of what is expected of them and what they must do in return. It is easy to devalue job development services. Having an accountability structure ensures the individual sees value in the process and has a set of expectations on what they must do in return. Having an accountability structure helps ensure the person you are working with is as prepared for job search as possible. The best prepared clients or students are the best calling card a job developer has in arguing the value of the services and supports that they're providing. Number 6, develop a skills orientation. Increasingly, employers are looking for candidates based on their ability to function in a role right now rather than a certain level of education or a particular number of years of experience. It's not to say these factors aren't important, but if an employer believes a candidate can't perform the role right away, they won't even consider them. Job developers should have a clear understanding of each candidate's skill set. The skill set should be reflected in their resume, in job applications, and within their LinkedIn profile. Tools such as LinkedIn and applicant tracking systems are using algorithms to suggest candidates to employers based on posted skills. Failing to input skills is like limiting a person's time availability. If it's not there, the algorithm is going to simply pass them by. Fundamental number 7, create regular touch points. It's all too easy for the client to develop the perspective that you are out there trying to get them a job, and they should just simply wait for you to call. The purpose of developing an accountability structure is to make it clear their efforts are just as important as yours. Through their active engagement of employers, they can uncover job postings which you can build on to help push the process forward. Job developers should be regularly connecting with their clients through conversations, emails, texts, social media hits. This may include a weekly group or one-on-one. Gatherings, and it may be simply to meet with the entire caseload via a Zoom meeting once a week. Having clients participate in regular touch points doesn't just ensure that they are actively job seeking, it expands the value of their contribution, and it helps build their confidence. Fundamental number 8, track and share labor market information with employers. To keep track of the changing labor market, job developers demonstrate that they have a fundamental understanding of the challenges and opportunities employers face every single day. A restaurant owner who is absorbed in the day-to-day operations of their business may not be aware of new training opportunities or government programs or employment standards changes or marketing opportunities. By sharing this information, the job developer is furthering their reputation as a subject matter expert that the employer can turn to. Fundamental number 9, utilize the process of discovery when engaging employers. One of the most significant ways job development has changed in recent years is how we market individuals. Employers are braced for the hard sell pitch on the benefits of inclusive hiring. Discovery is an approach whereby job developers ask employers probative questions, wanting to better understand their organization, who they employ, how they hire, and how the goals of their organization are unfolding, as well as their frustrations. In sales, this is intended to inform the salesperson about the challenges a customer faces, so that they can suggest what they are selling would help the employer or probably help the customer overcome those challenges. In job development, this not only builds trust, but better informs your clients or students. It also builds your knowledge and the understanding you have to better support all future clients or students that you might be working with. Fundamental number 10, set your 100. Every job developer should have their preferred 100 employers that they would like to work with. This should be based on employers who would likely hire your clients, but which is also reflective of the local employer community and which serves the jobs your clients are most often applying for. Not only should job developers have a strategy for reaching out to and engaging these employers, they should also be following them on social media. They should be both as individuals and organizations and regularly liking and sharing and commenting on their content. As job developers progress in developing relationships with employers, this 100 list should be a living document where some employers are removed and others are added as to ensure the best impact of this group on employers. Fundamental number 11, stock and continually refill the employer pipeline. To borrow a sales adage and modify it for job developers, the employers you contact today will be hiring your clients 30 to 60 days from now. Job developers should be constantly stocking and refilling the employer pipeline. There should be measurable activity every day, week, month. Any gap in activity will result in an employment gap 30 to 60 days in the future. After conducting a lot of employer engagement, it's easy for the job developer to sit back and focus on the activity that results, but without the ongoing daily practice of engagement, the activity will dry up at some point in the future. Fundamental number 12, time blocking is essential. Working in an organization with multiple functions, reaching out to hundreds of employers, and supporting 100 or more clients or students, well, it's easy for the job developer to spend their days just putting out fires, replying to emails, attending meetings, and taking care of paperwork. Where is the time for initiating new employer contacts and following up with existing ones? It is essential for job developers to block out time for employer engagement, employer follow-up, attending important networking events, and engaging employers in social media. If job developers are going to be measured on employment outcomes, they must have time for the functions that will most positively impact those outcomes. By blocking out the time with regular calendar scheduling or simply doing it for the next few weeks to go, it ensures the time is there when you need it. It also ensures that no one else blocks the time for you. Fundamental 13. Never market based on challenges. Focus exclusively on strengths. It is easy to introduce yourself and say, hey, you're supporting someone who has a disability or who's new to the country, who has never worked before or was recently released from jail. We're always trying to modify what we say and why it doesn't matter. Say, for instance, you say, my client is brand new to the country, but has 10 years of experience as a pharmacy assistant. Somehow we think that modifying our sentence with the but minimizes the challenge. Instead, the challenge is going to be the piece that the employer holds in their head as they listen to everything else that you say. You may say, my client's new to the country, but they have 10 years as a pharmacy assistant. And what they hear is, my client is an experienced pharmacy assistant, but they're new to the country. The employer then adds whatever they think that this means, such as, but they don't speak English very well, or but they just have a difficult time. They would have a difficult time understanding our customers. And why does this matter? The employer is going to see whatever the challenge is when they look at their resume, when they meet with the client, when they check their references, or when they get to know them. All we need to do is focus on the strength. To simply say, hey, I have an amazing client with 10 years experience as a pharmacy assistant. Would you be able to meet with them tomorrow at 2 p.m.? Fundamental 14, confront the Goldilocks bias. Employers are always looking for the just right candidate. Someone with good experience, but not too much experience. Someone who is educated, but not too educated. Someone who's old enough, but not too old. Since every employer is looking for the just right candidate, there is no shortage of jobs for these people. Employers are hoping these people will stay with their organization for the longest period of time, but instead they are the ones who are likely to leave the soonest, ghost them, demand higher wages, and feel a sense of entitlement. Instead, hiring the not obvious candidate produces someone who is likely willing to learn, more likely to be loyal, who's more inclined to stay with the employer in the long term. We need to be clear with employers that their continual practice of just interviewing candidates who rise to the top of a stack of resumes is the very reason they have turnover in the first place. We need to remind employers that not only is inclusive hiring better for their organization, it produces better long-term employees as well. Fundamental 15, track progress and adjust as necessary. Every job developer and even some brave teams have a scoreboard where they track the employment goals and the progress on specific activities which are helping achieve those outcomes. By simply looking at your outcomes once a month, we surrender ownership over those outcomes. Tracking progress can not only be the most empowering thing we do, we are no longer at the mercy of fickle employers who choose to hire or not hire our clients. We now have daily activities that we can engage in that will produce tangible results in the long run. Fundamental 16, take an active role in the business community. It's easy for the job developers to see themselves as the valiant social worker out there trying to create employment outcomes for the people who can't get those jobs on their own. I guarantee you that if this is how you see yourself, it is also how local employers see you. This is not doing you or your client a service. We need employers to see us as an extended member of the business community, someone who is an expert at retention and recruitment, someone who represents high-quality clients an employer would be lucky to hire. We do this by taking an active role in the business community, attending Chamber of Commerce or Board of Trade events, and as someone who shares insights into the labor market regularly. By cultivating this expertise, we carve out a niche for ourselves that cannot be filled by human resources, recruitment, or temp agency representatives. They each have a window into the labor market, but by working with both job seekers and employers, we have a unique view that is far less biased. Fundamental 17, the final one. Engage the broader job development community. All too often, job developers see other employer engagement, members of the employer engagement community as competitors for inclusive job opportunities. We are therefore competing for a limited number of available jobs. I would suggest the number of jobs is limited because we don't speak with a clear and cohesive voice. By working with other job developers in the community, we develop a clearer sense and understanding of what each other does. Our unique strengths and prevailing employer attitudes, of what each other does, as well as our unique strengths and prevailing employer attitudes. Employers are often distrustful of job development activities because they are inundated by multiple voices and overlapping messages. By working together, we bring clarity to job development supports in the community, garner greater employer trust, and thereby increase the number of inclusive jobs out there for everyone. These 17 fundamentals of job development and the supporting STEP framework have become the Canadian Job Development Network's foundational approach to job development. All too often, job developers are simply treated as just another career practitioner role. Not so. Success in job development requires an entirely different set of skills, objectives, and abilities. In developing these 17 fundamentals, we want to provide job developers with a framework where they can have maximum control and success in achieving employment outcomes. While this framework is just an introduction, they represent the backbone of our one-day online workshop, Developing a Comprehensive Approach to Effective Job Development, which we've delivered over the last 3 years to more than 600 job developers. We offer this training each year to allow those who are new to the sector as well as those looking to sharpen their skills an opportunity to attend. Recently, we officially actually launched this year's sessions, which will be taking place September 21st to 25th with one session in each time zone. So September 21st, it'll be in the Pacific time zone, September 22nd in the Mountain time zone, September 23rd in the Central time zone, September 24th in the Eastern time zone, and September 25th in the Atlantic time zone. If this is something of interest to you or people that you're working with, everyone who registers by July 13th will benefit from a 35% discount on registration. If you want more information, just go to jobdevelopment.org/pro-D. As you reflect on these 17 fundamentals of job development, I'd like you to think about areas of control that you have in job development. This control might be the ability to inspire and motivate the clients or students that you're working with, or it might be the richness of the relationships that you have with local employers. Control might simply be your ability to have a structure that you can modify and build on to achieve the best results possible. Just as with individuals we support, having a structure and process that we can rely on allows us to achieve the very best employment outcomes possible. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. Now, we do these sessions live and for free every Monday morning on YouTube and most podcast platforms. Just search for Motivating Mondays wherever you download podcasts and subscribe or like or share this podcast. It helps us share this with others in Canada's career development sector. Now, we do these sessions live and for free every Monday morning on Microsoft Teams with job developers from all across Canada. And it'd be so great if you could join us. Just go to jobdevelopment.org to learn more. And if you have any questions, send me an email directly. My email address is cstcyr@labormarketsolutions.ca. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have an amazing week.